Hey, welcome to the Geek Retreat spoiler cast. My name is Steven. I'm your host, and I got with me Jason.
I'm lighter, faster, and if that doesn't work, nastier.
Nice. And Mick.
How y'all doing?
And we are going to be in this episode, we're going to be spoiling Ford vs. Ferrari.
Look out there. Out there is the perfect lap. You see it?
I think so.
Most people can't.
Carroll Shelby. Maybe. Lee Iacocca, Ford Motor.
Suppose Henry Ford II wanted to build the greatest race car the world's ever seen to win the 24 hours of Le Mans. What's it take?
Well, it takes something money can't buy.
Money can buy speed.
What isn't about speed? You need a pure racer behind the wheel of your car. That's Ken Miles.
I don't trust him an inch.
We heard he's difficult.
No, Ken's a puppy dog.
No. Whatever it is, Shell, no.
Trust me.
You're gonna build a car to beat Ferrari with a Ford.
Correct.
And how long did you tell them that you needed? 200, 300 years?
90 days.
This isn't the first time Ford Motors has gone to war. We know how to do more than push paper. Go ahead, Carroll. Go to war.
Thank you, sir.
Do you think you can beat Ferrari?
I can try.
We're lighter, we're faster. When that don't work, we're nastier. We're gonna make history. You ready?
I was born ready, Mr. Shelby. Hit it.
Yeah, so I guess I'll start off. I just want to read the synopsis of the movie. It is a drama action movie. American car designer Carroll Shelby and driver Ken Miles battle corporate interference and the laws of physics to build a revolutionary race car for Ford in order to defeat Ferrari in the 24-hour of Le Mans in 1966. So this is it's also a biography. It's based on true. It's based on a true
I think
story.
it's like historically accurate. Like it's like basically dead on.
Yeah.
Actual events.
And it won 2 Oscars. It won an Oscar for Best Soundtrack and Best Achievement in Sound Editing and Best in Film Editing. So those are the 2 Oscars it won. And what are you guys' initial thoughts of the movie? What'd you when you finished it? What'd you think?
Yeah, I was actually trying to find something wrong with this film. I couldn't really. It was a great movie. I liked it. I think they did a lot of things well. Characters. I think Christian Bale acted his butt off on there.
Yeah.
He was really good in there.
Yeah, he was awesome.
He was awesome,
It's
man.
actually really funny because I forgot that Christian Bale is Welsh. And he actually, in all of his movies, he hides his accent.
Really? Okay.
And so when I heard it, I was like, man, that's like a fake accent. That sounds like really fake. And then I was, so it was like my fault. I was like, oh, wait.
That's actual.
That's his accent. He did have to change the dialect a little bit.
Yeah.
So you could.
It didn't sound fake to me at all, though. I think he pulled it off to me.
Yeah.
He was very well. And with such a thick accent as he is portraying in there, I don't know if, like you said, that was his real one or not, but having such a thick accent in that, to carry that throughout a whole movie is hard to do. I don't know if anyone knows that or not, but that's a tough task, because sometimes you try to do it and like certain lines or certain scenes, certain ways you're trying to say things, you kind of miss it a little bit, so it's not quite the same
right
accent as you were doing before, so it kind of gets hard to maintain throughout a whole movie. But I didn't find that with him throughout this one, unless I just missed it. But he did very, very well with the accent. He did very well just acting, period.
Yeah, it was one of
really
his
good.
like really good roles. He was
Yeah.
definitely, I think Matt Damon was headlined as the lead, but Christian Bale, like, he should have been
He
the
took
lead.
it.
It
was
was
like,
his
on
he took
another
the show,
level.
yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Mick?
Them-
What was your like instant thought right away?
I could tell you what my favorite part was
All right.
when
What's that?
Ford Jr. got in the car
Yes.
and they're
Oh, yeah.
driving around
Yes.
mega fast.
Yes.
And he starts. He's like, "Oh yeah!" And
You know
then
what
he
was
like,
so
I
good
have no idea, and he was crying.
Yeah.
I remember there's one time my wife, back then before we had the kid, my wife used to be Miss Speed Racer and be like, wah, 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 whipping through cars, scare the hell out of me when she's driving. And I remember one day one of her friends hopped in the car and we're giving her a ride back home, and she comes down this street, and then her turn was coming up, and she was like, right there, and my wife just went whap, and the whole car like, I swear that car came up on two wheels, and she comes down.
Get a little Ken
I
Miles.
was like, what the heck? I kind of blew up on her, you know. I mean,
That's
slow
funny.
down, what the heck? And I look in the
Wow.
back. And her
like
friend's
white
laughing.
knuckled.
She's laughing for a second, and then she goes. And she's like crying hella hard.
That's funny. That's
It was-
funny.
That's what
I
that
like his like quote before that too. He's like, "Are you ready?" He's like,
He's
"That
like,
name on that steering wheel says I was born ready."
Oh yeah.
hit
I was like,
it.
He's
I
like,
had no
"Attaboy."
idea.
Well, and
I had
it's so
no
cool.
idea.
That was a really funny moment. That was probably the funniest moment in the whole in the whole
For
movie.
sure.
But it turns into such a like heartfelt moment, like right after that, because it, you know, he starts crying about how like he wished his dad could be here to see this, and like this is the legacy. This is what Ford was meant to do, like to revolutionize the motoring world, and that's exactly what they did. You know, Ford went from from a production car, like, you know,
Sell.
yeah, just don't put out quality or quantity, don't put out quality, put out quantity. And
Right.
they totally flipped the script and gained the respect of Ferrari and Porsche and a bunch of other big time car companies, that they're like the real deal. And it was really cool. And like, you know, I'm not like Uber car guy. Like, I like cars. My dad has like an old Camaro, so I've always been like on the Chevy side of cars.
Mhm.
But I love like Carroll Shelby and like his story and stuff like that, like what he came from, like making his own cars, and you know, this kind of cemented him as like a legendary car manufacturer. And you know, it's just like, it was such a good movie. I felt that yeah, like Jason, like you said, like I couldn't walk away from anything wrong with it.
Well, I think
Yeah,
he
and-
takes.
Go ahead.
I mean, it's realistic. It's history. I think that he kind of took some of the what do you call it? He took away the what's the racer's name?
Ken Miles.
Miller, Ken Miles,
Right.
Miller?
Miles? I think he
Miles.
really deserves credit for.
Oh,
making
yeah.
that car
Oh,
for
yeah.
what it
No,
is.
that car
Yeah.
wouldn't be what it was if it
Right.
wasn't for Ken.
Right. I had no clue who that guy.
Yeah,
was, and
I
he
had
was
no
a
idea.
Bad
Yeah, me either.
Yeah.
pajama.
And
Before-
you know, and the funny thing is, and that's another thing this movie did very well, because both of them have like a story that made you feel for them, that was heartfelt for them, because Shelby came from being a driver himself, and then he had his accident or he had his health issues,
Yep.
and he had to
Couldn't
step
compete
away from
anymore.
driving
Yeah.
to be a engine designer or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And so he kind of had to shift his dream, his passion to something in the same field, but doing something else. He didn't get to drive anymore. And then Ken Miles, like you just mentioned, like he doesn't even get the win, the victory. He's not even known because they had just had it out for this guy, and they just wanted to, keep a low man down, I guess, or however you want to put it.
I hated that guy, the Ford's assistant.
Yeah.
Oh my
that
gosh.
was in charge. Oh my goodness! Just because he was talking crap to him at the very beginning. Remember at the where they're showing the new Mustang.
Right. And but it's not only that too. It's that, and I think that's like the service level one. Like that's what they want you to dial it back to, and that's the reason why. But if you really think about it, it's like that was like an insignificant reason for someone to hate you that much. But it just goes back to what Ken Miles was saying to Shelby in that coffee shop when he first told him that he was working for Ford, and he was like, "Look, they're gonna disgrace you. They're gonna disrespect you at all turns because that's who they are." And it says they all they try to do is please their bosses, and they hate themselves for it.
Yeah.
And the only person that they hate more than themselves is people like you, people who are different, people who are not like them. And that's how they treated Ken Miles. That was the reason I think why they treated him so bad, because he was just like this dude that was kind of had a bad attitude. He was kind of cocky and confident, and but he was like he's not a rich, smart businessman like they are.
Yeah,
so and Shelby kind of blended in with them a little bit. He was like the best of both worlds a little bit. But Ken Miles, he was like he's an outsider completely, and I think that's why they gave him so much trouble, or that dude did. Because he was like, who's this guy? Why is he running my show? Why does he have anything to do or to say with what I'm running, my project? Yeah. And I think that's why he just had it out for that guy. And it kind of sucks, dude.
They wanted a corporate yes man, and Ken Miles was not that guy.
He was not,
and it was very cool to see like the three sides of it. You know what I mean? It was like on one side you have, what was his name? It was BB. That was like the bad guy in the movie, right?
BB?
That was the main guy who kept like getting in the way.
Was that his name? I didn't even care.
It was Leo Beebe.
Okay.
That was the main like villain, if you will. He was the guy who kept like speaking up for Ford, and he was the one who called about So
Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
Little baby.
Yeah. So like, I mean, that was the thing. It was like a huge pride thing. You got to see this man.
He's proving
like,
me wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
He's doing good.
Right.
Well, just like he created this image of this like this golden child in the corporate world for Ford or for like Mr. Ford, and like this guy from nothing, who owns just a little podunk shop. Came up and is like showing this guy up, and it was cool to see like his pride. And finally, like I don't quite remember, did it like turn at the end? Like at the end, did he kind of like back off of his stance towards Ken Miles? No, it was always kind of, it was, even if anything, it cemented more
even at the end.
Yeah, because that's why he told him like he was like, hey, let's go in at the same time.
Yeah,
and
laps ahead.
But now that we brought that up, though, that was the one thing that kind of bothered me about the movie. And admittedly, so this is going to be a nitpick, but it was because they said that he was 2 laps ahead, I believe. They said that he's 2 laps ahead. What do you want him to do to slow down? And then after Shelby told him, he's like, okay, and he went back out there. He was gunning it again, so he never did slow down until the end, and he slowed down and let the other cars catch up. So I was like, did they do their 2 laps already?
Right.
They didn't necessarily.
No.
They didn't catch back up to him, so it's that part was kind of weird.
To me, I thought it was implied that they did their 2 laps. Like I thought.
How can you imply that when he went out gunning it like he was doing it before? He
right. You have the same scenery.
Running.
Man, that part.
Same scenery. When he's going, okay, I need to do this. I need to slow down.
Because you can't imply it. You got to at least have the car go by him one time at least, so we kind of know what's going on.
Right.
If you're going to set that scene up.
Yeah, they missed on that one.
Yeah,
they try to throw a little.
And it's probably just editing. They probably did it, but they're trying to cut the movie time down, and they probably just that was like an insignificant portion, so they just took it out. But
So I want to go back.
I caught it, but
I want to go back
Right.
just a hair, because I didn't feel like I completed my thought all the way on having the three sides. We got the BB guy, the bad guy,
Yeah.
and then Ken Miles is like your total, like, from nothing. And then Carroll Shelby fit the middle, and he helped like blend those two together and like spoke for him and everything. But he even like, because he even like kind of Carroll Shelby really helps kind of stab Miles in the back a little bit. You know what I mean? Like when it comes to remember the big introduction at when they're introducing the Mustang.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He at the car, like he's like, all because of one. This car wouldn't be what it was, and it's only because of one guy. And then like, and you're waiting for it, and they set it up so well, and then it's like,
Me.
yeah, or no, he's like Mr. Ford. You know what I mean? It's
Oh,
just like,
Mr. Ford. Yeah.
no, don't. And
That's
he's
right.
like, okay, time to leave.
Well, I mean, yeah. So Miles obviously took it as that, right? Like,
Yeah.
he kind of didn't give him credit or whatever. But I didn't see it as that way though. I know that it could look that way, but I was like, I knew that he was doing what he had to do to get them both to where they needed to be.
Yeah.
And so if he would have said his name, everybody was like, who is this guy? Why are you mentioning him?
But it was such like it was such like a political move for him to do that. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like everybody wants him to say Ken, but politically speaking, not like, work politically speaking,
yeah,
he had to say,
he had to say,
company,
he had to say
what I mean?
He said what he had to say to
Exactly.
be able to get in the position where
And
he
he
can
did,
do
and in the meeting, he Ken totally foreshadows that with him. Is like, you've got to. They're not looking for a guy like me. They're looking for this corporate yes man, and so they blended together. But yeah, so just going. I just wanted to jump back on that real fast because that really stuck out to me as how like the blend happened really well.
We got shafted twice too, so that was one. And then when they went to, was it France?
Yep, and he couldn't. They wouldn't allow him to go.
Yeah.
So it's just like every time he just keeps getting like the shaft, and then like that whole montage of him building the car is just like. He's just like calling it out, like, oh, it's the gearbox. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's the don't rev it too high. And he's just like, oh man, this is the guy. This is the guy.
Dude didn't get credit for nothing.
Anything.
Not a damn thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, he was the biggest part of the whole everything. He's the biggest part of everything.
Yeah, seriously.
It wasn't until
the race doesn't happen if it wasn't like if it wasn't for Ken.
Right.
But like he's still so humble too. It's like even like when he got told the news that hey, you're not going to France, he was still like, okay, well here's
let's
what's
get
wrong.
him trained.
Here's what's wrong. Here's what you need to fix. Here's the problems. Okay, all right, I see you. So he still gave him the information he needs to make things better, to do what he had to do, so he doesn't look bad, And I thought that was humbling of him. I thought that was what made him a great character.
Yeah.
To me, a character to love.
Great person.
Yeah,
a great person in general.
Seriously, he just like, he was a great father, like him spending time with his son at the track and just like showing him he did a real good job at showing his son his like sensitive side along with this like, I got to be a man in this situation. And his son got to see like so much of his father that, a lot of kids don't get to see.
He has so many heartfelt moments with his kid, dude. Like maybe not heartfelt, but like one-on-one, just like loving, like father to son, like moments. And I was really digging those moments, man. As a father myself, I'm like, and having a son, and I look back, I was like, man, that's pretty cool to have your son to be able to be with you there every step of the way, and being able to coach him through it and let him know what you're thinking, what your mindset is as you go through it. And I think that part was pretty dope, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good quotables in this movie too. Like he's
so speaking of a quotable, like the one thing I kept thinking about so I knew before going into this, I knew nothing about the story, like the real story of Ford versus Ferrari. So when he mentioned that, remember when I think the kid's name was Pete, he goes to he's like the assistant. He's Carroll Shelby's assistant. I don't remember the guy's name. Let me see. I get it real fast. I have it right here. Phil Remington. And he's like, Pete asks him, he says like, could my dad have died or something like that? Remember that conversation?
With the fire. Yeah.
And he's like, as long as he gets out of the car, he's going to be safe. And I audibly went, oh no. And my wife was like, what? And I was like, he's going to die. Like, it's totally foreshadowed that like
Yeah.
he's not going to get out of the car.
Yeah.
And
They
they
set
did
that up well.
cinematically, they set it up fantastically.
Yeah.
Like that's how you do it in cinema. Like when they have the race, you know what I mean? Like it's the middle of the night and they start showing the brakes like heating up. Those moments, you're like, oh no, is this the moment? Like, is this where it's going to happen? Are the brakes going to go out again? And then it happens, and you totally don't like. It's in a moment you don't even expect.
You don't even realize
it's going to be a happy ending, and then you're like, no, like you forget about it. You know,
I kind of knew it was going to come when they started saying that 7,000 RPM
Yep.
quote again. Because I was like, because even when they said it in the beginning, I was like, this is kind of a somber quote. Like, what are they trying to say with this quote?
Yeah.
And so, and then even when after they said it in the beginning, that there's something bad happened because Shelby caught on fire.
Yeah.
And so then.
Oh, I didn't even pick that up.
Yeah.
Right.
So and then
You're
so they started saying it again at the end. So I'm like, oh shoot.
Yep. Here it comes. Prepare
Here
yourself.
it comes. So yeah.
Well, no, I thought it was really cool. You know, like they set up the ending well, really, really good too. You know, they have the meeting with Ken and his son Pete, and they're sitting out on the runway, and he's like, "Look out into the horizon." So a cool thing I picked up on was at the end. You know, when he finishes, he does the best lap, right? He gets out, and they tell him to slow down, and he's like, "I'm not doing that." And then Pete, he did a perfect lap. If you look at the moment, the rear view mirror. It's in the camera, and you can see the horizon in the camera or in the rear view mirror. Like the way they framed it, like cinematically, the perfect lap was now behind him. Like the sunset was in the rear view mirror. And so he like turned that page, and he was like, okay, you know what? Maybe I can become this like in-betweener guy like Carol is. Like, I'm going to still do things my way, but I can still work with a corporate entity. And
remember that quote he said to his son? They were sitting out there on the track. They were like, "Do you see out there?
Yeah,
the perfect lap out there." And he's like, "I think I see it." He goes, "Not too many people can."
Yep.
And so he did it. But
yeah, it was just so like it was so poetic. It was such like a when he was that whole moment, like the music dies, the sound of the engines revving, they die, and it's just like this like
calming, like
peaceful moment, and you're like,
serene.
He did it. He accomplished the goal.
Yeah.
And then the movie turns another page on you where formality and so stupid. I was like, you're so mad, but he just like he handles it so well. So it was such a good movie. It was such a good movie.
Hey, you know what, little fun fact, because you're talking about the conversation with the kid and Phil, about him getting out of the car. I'm not sure if you know, because I was gonna say I looked it up, but I didn't. My wife looked it up after there because she was fact checking.
Okay.
And because they didn't really show the crash at the end.
Nope.
So, but I guess what happened in real life that he was taking, like they said, it was like a basic turn, and they said he must not have been paying attention, or he was maybe there's some kind of mechanical error or something. But they said that he crashed off of a turn, and he actually got ejected out of the vehicle and died on impact.
Really?
Yeah. And
okay, so maybe like a little rider. What do they call that when like rider a liberty, like a little rider's liberty with that setup?
Yeah, I mean, so I don't know if they were trying to hint at that or not with the whole him getting out of the car, because he was saying if you get out of the car you're safe, but I just thought it was ironic that his death was actually him getting out, but he died from being out, and that's how he died. But
wear your seatbelts.
Wear your seatbelts and check your brakes. I think any other moments that stood out to you guys?
There's a lot of moments. I don't know if we have time for me to go through all my moments.
Yeah.
But also, I just want to mention too, because we talked about the dynamics between Lee. Was it Lee or Leo? You said Leo. I think it's Lee, right?
So, Leo Beebe was the bad guy.
Okay, so Beebe, Shelby, and Miles. So, but even Ford, right? Because like that little phrase.
Oh man.
Like you're not Henry Ford.
Yeah.
You're the second.
He was all like,
that set the tone for the whole movie.
Yeah.
That stuck with him, and even like you said, you mentioned it earlier. Or Mick, I don't know if it was you or Steven that mentioned that after that car ride when he was sitting in there, he's like, I just, he he's in his father's shadow.
Yeah.
And he's trying to do something to get out of it to make sure his dad's gonna be proud of him, that he's fulfilling the lineage properly or whatever. And so there's like this thing lingering over him too, and he's not even like a
lead,
big character in the movie, but his presence looms over the whole movie though. Like that's what set everything in motion. And I even think that's what makes this movie so great. It's like even every single character gives you that much power. Like there's so much. I don't even know how to explain it, man. But it's like they nailed it with every character, and every character in that movie is crucial, pivotal, and everybody nailed it, man. As far as their performances.
We've had conversations where like, oh, this character like could have been taken out of this movie.
Yeah.
I didn't feel that with any character in the movie.
I didn't feel that either.
Nobody was overdone. Nobody was underdone. It's just like, it was such a well-rounded movie. It really was. It's happy. It's sad. It's everything in between. It's like heart-pounding action when he's fighting the Italian guy, when he's like racing the Italian guy.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm just like on the edge of my seat.
Yeah. Right.
Even like the CG, there was tons of CG parts in it. Like the actual racing, they looked great. They looked flawless.
Yeah.
The sound was spot on. It was seriously on point. The soundtrack of like the racing atmosphere, the engines, Yep.
Hey, they won an award for it for a reason.
Yeah, there's a reason.
It was definitely stellar in there.
Yeah. So
another. We didn't mention John Bernthal's character. I don't remember his name in there. But his speech regarding we got to be like Ferrari, we got to think like Ferrari.
Oh yeah,
that was good. That whole scene was pretty good too.
Well, and I liked his
dialogue in that movie was just great altogether, man. Like that was some good dialogue. Go ahead, Steve.
No, Lee Iacocca. That's the one. So there's Lee Iacocca.
Okay, that's who I'm thinking of.
Leo Beebe.
Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, and like Lee was like on the side of these guys. He was like, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Let's go with it.
Right.
Like, what could be wrong? I don't know. I don't know if he was quite like that, but I was happy when the Ford Ferrari thing didn't happen. You know what I mean? I was like, no, let's show these guys. American made, baby.
American made, yeah.
So, okay.
What you say about my mama? Remember Menace Society?
Yeah.
Remind me when he heard.
Oh no, that was Don't Be a Menace.
Don't be a menace. What you say about my daddy?
That's another movie I've never seen, so I'll have to go see that too.
Oh, Steven, don't see it. You'll be ruined for life.
Right.
What is this?
What is going on? Okay, so let's wrap up. What do you guys? Let's give a final. Let's do. You guys want to do like out of 10, out of 5, or like we can do out of 8?
Out of 10.
Oh, out of 10. Okay.
Yeah, let's do out of 10.
Okay. Mick.
Well, the movie was a good movie.
Yeah.
It kept my attention. I could watch it through. I didn't get annoyed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm not a big car guy. I'm really not. It's just not a, my.
It's not a movie you're gonna like pick up and watch.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But I'll definitely talk about it. I'll talk to people. So I mean, I would definitely give it probably 8. But that's putting my agenda aside for what the movie was and how I think it was an 8. I think there's things they could have improved on and stuff like that, but
yeah,
I give it an 8.
8's a solid number.
Yeah, it is a solid number.
So I'll give it like it. It was really good. I didn't walk away from it sad or upset. I wanted justice for Ken.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was like, give it justice for Ken.
Yeah.
So I'll give it like, I get like an 8.75.
It's a well put movie.
Yeah.
It was a well put together movie, but it wasn't like, oh my God, I gotta go see it.
Yeah, it's definitely a movie that like, I don't know if I'll ever pick it up and watch it again. But
I was gonna say that in my review. Yeah.
For the time, like, if you haven't seen it and you want a good movie to see, go watch it. I mean, if it's on, I might watch it, but like, but to have a movie that I would probably never watch again be at 8. That's a good movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To be at 8.75. That's a good movie.
Yeah.
So, all right, Jason, bring us home.
Yeah. So, I like I said, I didn't really find too much that was a flaw in this movie, and my grade is going to reflect only what Steven just said, rewatchability. That's the only thing I think is going to really bring it down, because I probably will at some point watch it again. Just not. I'm not like anxious to watch it again right away, but I probably will end up seeing it again. I'll probably end up buying it. I think they did really well. Dialogue was really good. The characters throughout, their performances were great. I don't think a single person in there was misused or didn't hold their weight at all. Even had some funny moments. The fight on the lawn.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah.
talked about
too.
that. The fight out. On the
Don't give him one. Don't give him one.
Just me.
just me.
That was pretty funny.
It was such funny too. It was so funny too because he just like out of nowhere, punches him right.
Right, yeah.
Couldn't even
And
expect
then
it. You're like, what?
Shelby grabs a can. He's getting ready to hit it. He's like, nah. And he starts hitting him with bread.
He hits him with the bread.
He hits him with bread.
I'm gonna need some more bread. And
Yeah.
ice cream, please.
She said, so I'm gonna go to the store then.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. Cinematically, the cinematography was great. They just did a very good job, man. I think I'm gonna give it a solid 9, man. And the only reason like say that I'm giving it the 9 is because I think it's not high on my rewatchability factor. And then that little nitpick, but I'm not deducting anything for that. But it still just wasn't a movie that, because when it took me so long to watch it because it wasn't a movie that I was like hyped up to see to begin with. So it's not like a movie that gets me all riled up. That's probably another reason why I'm not giving it a 10, but otherwise, stellar movie, 9, solid.
Top-notch movie.
Yes, sir.
All
I
right.
definitely recommend it. If anyone out there is watching and
highly
you have not
recommended.
seen it, watch that movie.
Cool.
And that was directed by James Mangold. I didn't know that going in.
Yeah, didn't he direct?
He did Logan and he did Walking Tall.
Yeah.
Is it Walking Tall? Not Walking Tall.
No,
Walk the Line.
Walking Tall
Walk
is
the
the
Line.
spoof, right?
No, Walking Tall is the Rock, Dwayne Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
With the 2x4 or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he also did the Wolverine.
Yeah, and Logan. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
that was a
Logan
good
was so
movie,
good. Yeah.
So,
But yeah, James Mangold did really good. I really liked that last scene setup, but right before the Le Mans started, and they got Miles walking through the corridors underneath the stadium, and everybody's all riled up and getting ready, and he's just kind of calm, sipping his coffee, and he walks out, and you see the stadium, and Shelby comes up behind him, and then the Frenchman walks. Oh, is it a Frenchman? The guy to his right, the Italian, yeah.
Italian.
Walks by him, they're like eyeballing each other. It's just a bunch of good stuff in there, man. I can talk about that movie all the time.
There's a bunch of good little nuggets.
Yeah.
Well, cool. All right. So this has been the spoiler cast for Ford vs. Ferrari. The very first. The inaugural. I think that's the word. Yes.
Yeah.
So we want to do these more. So we want to put it up to you guys. What movies do you want us to see? What movies do you want us to review? We have a bit of a backlog, but we'll put it up to you guys. Maybe we'll put a poll out and
for sure
for the next one. And we want this to be a weekly or bi-weekly series. We don't really know yet. We're just kind of feeling it out. But let us know what you think. If you liked it, be sure to like the video, subscribe, comment your favorite parts, what you would have changed about the movie, and give us your rating. We want to know what you would have rated it in the comments below. So do that. And if you want more of us, if you just found us by looking for a spoiler cast for Ford vs. Ferrari, we are the Geek Retreat. We are 3 coworkers who love talking about games and movies and all the like. And we do a podcast every Monday here on YouTube. So I'll put an annotation, click that, and go check us out. And hopefully you
and share,
follow us and share it and spread the word, spread the joy, spread whatever.
Right.
So we will see you guys when we see you.
on the flip
on
side.
whatever show we see you on. So have a great day, and we'll talk to you guys later.
You too.
Bye.